What up guys, welcome to Base Damage, and this week I wanted to bring to you a budget deck that was brought to me by my buddy Miroku. This is from the Accel World Infinite Burst set, and it's mono green for the most part. It's got a little bit of other colors, but level 1 and up's mono green, and it focuses around the enemy cards with Nyx and the opponents that they had to fight in the Infinite Burst movie. And this was actually a really cool deck, and I was kind of surprised because we didn't expect it to do too terribly well, but it's actually been doing very well at our locals. But yeah, I just wanted to show y'all this today and hope y'all enjoy it. A deck list will be in the description if you just want to go ahead and see it there. By all means, cool, go for it. I'm going to go ahead and just go through every card in the deck, and then at the end of it, I'll explain some pros and cons of the deck. But let's get right into this. With the level 0s, we got, first off, we have White Duel Avatar. We got 4 copies of it. It is a global 500 to the enemy trait in your deck, which is pretty damn good. Always good to have global 500s, and it actually has a combo with one of your level 2s later on, and we'll get to that in a bit. Next is 3 copies of this level 0 Ash Roller that has a Climax combo. It's also global 500 to all your other Avatar Net characters, which you do have some in this deck, but that 500 isn't going to come in but so often. The Climax combo is with this green stock soul from the waiting room. When the Climax gets played, choose one of your characters. It doesn't specify a trait, so you can target all of your enemy characters with this. I thought that was really cool. Give them plus 1500 power and the ability that when their battle opponent becomes reversed, you can heal the top card of your opponent's clock and then send that card to your opponent's clock. So it's good removal in that sense. If your opponent happens to heal, like they just went up a level, and they don't have any cards in their clock, it actually is a clock shoot effect at that point because it will still send the character to their clock. I thought that was cool. But it's pretty good removal at any level of the game, and I thought that was really useful for this type of deck that doesn't really have any plussing Climax combos, put it that way. Next is 3 copies of this level 0 Aqua Current. When you play it from hand to stage, you can look at the top card of your deck and then put it on the top of your deck or in the bottom of your deck. Also, the second effect is the most useful one. When your opponent plays a Climax, I thought that was an interesting condition, you can send this card from the field to your stock. Which is really funny because if your opponent somehow gets to level 1 before you and has like an on-reverse plussing effect, you can use this effect as soon as they go to play the Climax and send it to stock, so they have one less character they can try to plus off of, which I thought was really cool. And free stock for your opponent playing Climaxes is not bad, considering this deck builds a lot of stock anyway. Next is this level 0 Fuko. Has an Accelerate ability. The Accelerate ability is one of the most prominent things in the Infinite Burst set, or Accel World in general. And when you at the beginning of your Climax phase, you can deal yourself a damage from the top of the deck. If you do, when she attacks, on attack, you can look at up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. Add 1 card amongst them to your hand, rest go to waiting room, and then discard 1 card. So you can hand filter really early on and try to push yourself to level 1 quicker, which is really cool. Next is 2 copies of Driving Scarlett Rain. We don't give a fuck about the first effect because it doesn't matter. The second effect, which is the Brainstorm effect, is what we look at, is a pay 1, tap 2 characters, and mill 4 for every Climax, you get to salvage back a character. Now, once again, because this just states character, you can grab back any of your enemy characters that don't have the Avatar Net trait. It doesn't matter. You don't have to worry specifically about Avatar Net with her effect. Next, we have 3 copies of Disc-Shaped Enemy. This is the Brainstormer for the Nox cores and whatnot. First off, at the beginning of your Climax phase, you can choose one of your characters. That character gets 500 power till end of turn. So, neat little buff there. It's also a Brainstorm of pay 1, tap 2 characters, mill 4. For every Climax, you can search your deck for a Nox core and summon it to the field. Now, for each one of those that you summon to the field, they get a plus 1000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. Excuse me. So that's actually really cool to be able to do that and get out some decently powerful Nox cores, which we'll get to that in a second. That's one of the level 1s. So that is 18 level 0s. And you'll understand why I like NOX CORE in a second here, because this is a really cool card. But first we're going to show you the one backup at level 1. It's 1,000 backup, but if you have an Avatar Net character, when you use it, you can choose one of your characters in battle and give it an additional 1,000 power. So as long as you have like the Ash Roller or one of the Brainstormers back row with Avatar Net trait, you can make her a free 2k backup, which is really cool. That's your only level 1 backup. Next, you have 14 copies of NOX CORE, because it don't give a fuck here. I know this is probably really hard to see, but yeah, no, for real, 14 copies of NOX CORE. I'm not kidding. The very first effect of this card is you can run any number of copies with this card's name in your deck that you want. So you can run a deck of 42 NOX COREs. Not saying you should, but you can. It's funny. But yeah, you run 14 because this is the card that gets summoned off the Brainstorm, and it works off of a combo with your level 3. So its second effect is for every other NOX CORE on your center stage, it gets plus 2,000 power. So if you play 3 of them, they're each 1065s. So they can get pretty decently buff. As long as you have like a white dual avatar, that you get a wall of 7Ks across the board, which is really cool. Its last effect, which is really cool, on play from hands, you can pay 2 stock to search your deck for an enemy character. So you can search more copies of NOX CORE, you can search your back row support, you can search your level 3. It's a really powerful effect for how much stock this deck can produce, and I really like this card. So 15 cards at level 1. Just saying. We'll get back to the NOX COREs at some point because it is very much relevant in a bit here. For your level 2s, you got 2 copies of this Kuroyukihime backup. It's a 2,500 backup, and when you use the backup, you can pay 2 stock to refresh. And that way you can avoid penalties and whatnot. If you know you're like already out of climaxes or something like that in the deck, you could just go ahead and like, okay, safety button, boop. Let's go ahead and just combine my deck with my waiting room. So it's a really good card in that regard. Next is 3 copies of Nyx and Risa. It's a 2/1/6/5. On play, you can discard a card to grab back a white dual avatar from your waiting room to your hand. And this combos with this because it has an act ability where you can pay 1 stock, send this and the white dual avatar to your memory to summon your level 3, which we'll go ahead and talk about right now. I'm going to scoot this up. To summon your level 3 Goddess of Night Nyx from your hand to the field. So it basically lets you summon this for a much lower cost, as well as does a little bit of compression because this all goes to memory. And we'll go ahead and throw out a NOX CORE right here just to show, because it's relevant. This Nyx is a level 3 cost, 12,000 power character, which I thought was really fucking powerful. Sure, it's a 3 cost, but you don't care because you can either summon it off of this or you're going to have enough stock to do it anyway. It doesn't matter. First off, it can't side attack, so that's the drawback of it being overpowered. But that's whatever. You don't care. On play from the hand, you can discard 1 card, mill the top 7 cards of your deck to the waiting room, and for every NOX CORE that you hit off of those 7 cards, you can attempt to burn your opponent for that many NOX COREs in damage. So you mill 2 NOX COREs, attempt to burn for 2. So that's actually really cool, and that's it for the level 3 lineup, to be completely totally honest. Which you don't mind, but these NOX COREs can search out these, search out that, search out, like just all of this has such an awesome synergy with each other that you can easily pull off these combos and you don't care about the stock. I'm about to show you another reason why in a second here, if I can scoot cards over, is you got, for your climaxes, you got 4 copies of the green stock Soul, so you're going to be getting stock off of this. And then you have 4 copies of the Citron Call Gold Bag. And the Gold Bag states that when you trigger it, you blind stock, and then this goes to your stock. So you get 2 stock for the price of 1, and you don't care. This isn't combo with anything in the deck, so you don't care if it goes to your hand, is in your hand, if it's in your stock. You can pay out the stock very easily over and over by just constantly summoning Nox cores. Oh, I know there's 4 Climaxes in my stock. Let me go pay that out real quick type thing. And because of such, you can just keep generating so much stock over and over and just paying the cost. So it's perfectly fine in that regard to me. But yeah, with that, thank y'all very much for watching if you decide to leave by this point. This deck was like $20, $25-ish to make, and it's very, very affordable. I feel that it's a very good deck to teach new people about proper stock management, which I thought was, you know, really good incentive for anyone wanting to build something from Accel World. Build this deck straight up. This is the cheapest deck you're probably going to make out of Accel World. Cons to the deck, I admit that some of the characters can't get but so big if your opponent decides to wall up. But even then, it can still almost contend with that. And its finisher, which is the Nyx, the burn effect off the Nyx, it does require extra cards from hand. It's not like a Climax combo or anything. So it can be a little lackluster in flashy finisher moves. But by all means, that doesn't even matter in my opinion. But yeah, that's it for the deck. Thank y'all very much for watching. Please subscribe if you want. If not, hey, thanks for checking out the deck. Thank you again to Miroku, and we will see y'all on the flip side. Peace out for now.